Barry is amazing. So I just finished binging season 1 of Barry on HBO, and I can confidently say this is one of my favorite shows in a long time. It's funny, it's interesting, it's dramatic, it has some occasional suspense. It really just has everything I'd want from a TV show. And I've been recommending it to everyone I talk to because I really think that most people can find something they love about this show. And today, I'm hoping to be able to expose at least one of those things for you. Now what I'm going to do is break down this video into sections based on points I think are really strong in the show. I'm not going to get into any really big spoiler talk, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm simply just going to be telling you why this show is so great and hopefully be able to convince you to go watch it yourself. Bill Hader as a hitman trying to become a theater actor. If that's enough for you to want to go watch it, just stop this video right now and just go do it. Just go watch it. But in seriousness, Barry is a dark comedy starring Bill Hader as a depressed hitman from the Midwest. And after reluctantly traveling to LA for a hit, he feels he's found his calling in the world of LA theater. And now he wants to start this new life as an actor, but it's going to be a lot harder than he thinks with a criminal past that just won't let him go. So I could try to explain how great this premise is, but I'm just going to let the creators do that themselves.
We both liked this idea of a guy who does not like what he's great at, but falls in love with something that he might be terrible at, and what should he pursue, his brain or his heart? But being an actor requires being known, and being a killer requires being unknown. The whole show is really about the clash between those two worlds.
That was the thing, his job is in the shadows and he wants to live in a spotlight, and that doesn't work.
I think the idea of this inner clash is absolutely brilliant. I love when shows successfully execute a fish out of water scenario, and this show truly understands how to use that premise to its full comedic potential. It kind of reminds me of a reverse Breaking Bad, if you will, where instead of a normal guy slowly losing himself to evil in a life of crime, this story is about a man troubled with guilt, trying his best to get away from his life in crime and follow his normal dreams like everyone else. Each of the 8 30-minute episodes is just filled with story, and this show wastes absolutely no time to get right to the point. By the end of the first episode, I was shocked by how much had happened. But even then, the story doesn't feel rushed at all. The show knows when to take its time on a funny scene, as well as when to keep the scene short when it's not necessary to make them any longer. Every scene has its purpose in the show, and the writers clearly see no use for fluff. And as you're watching, you may be thinking that it's just an easy throwaway scene, but then later on, it'll come back and you'll understand why those events needed to happen to push the story even further. Barry Berkman is such an intriguing character. He really does want to just leave this bad life behind him, but he keeps getting trapped in these scenarios and you just end up really wanting to see him succeed. And it's so tough watching him try to get out of a scenario just by believing in someone to do the right thing when you know that's just not how it's gonna work. You can tell Bill Hader has a perfect vision with this show, even just the way he plays the character. He shows such sad and hilarious awkwardness while also showing such raw pain that it's hard not to fall in love and sympathize for his character. But then there's Sally, who's played by Sarah Goldberg, who is just killer in this show. Sally is equally dislikable yet tragic with her drive to become a real actress.
What do you want?
To be an actress?
Again, I don't believe you.
It's all I ever wanted in the whole world.
She has genuine passion for what she's doing, but seems to let her ego get the best of her sometimes. She has talent unmatched with the rest of her acting class, but that's also all she seems to focus on. She is a very real person, and though she does very selfish actions, she isn't a bad person. She's just stuck. Then there's Fuchs. Fuchs is Barry's handler, played by Stephen Root, who really just does a great job. I can't really get into much about his character because I might be spoiling a little bit of stuff, but what I can say is he's like a bad father figure who still actually does care about Barry. Now, he's not like a pure evil guy like you might be imagining. He's a pretty normal dude. It's just, when it comes to work, he kind of needs Barry as his man. Then there is Gene Cousineau, the acting teacher who just never made it.
Bullshit! It's false, Sally.
I know. I got thrown off right before I was about to go on it. I was outside going...
Excuse me. I don't give a shit. Even your excuses are false. You're up there, you're stinking up my stage, babe.
Henry Winkler is absolutely perfect casting for this character. I just couldn't see anyone else playing him, to be honest. And there's this really sad moment in episode 4 that totally represents him as a character. It's when he goes to a casting for a very small role that it's just clear he isn't gonna get. And it's showing how powerless he is in the world of acting, but then when he comes back to his acting class, his students rise on their feet and applaud him as if he was some wise professional about to give them the knowledge to become a real actor.
I was on the phone.
You know, buddy, I have to be honest. I'm quite a bit angry, but I'm going to put that aside for now because rage is counterproductive, yes? And I know if the situation were reversed, I probably would have done the same thing you did.
You did do what I did. You tried to kill me.
Okay, well, now we're getting a little he said, she said.
These characters are A1 comedy. These are the guys who are hiring Barry to do hits throughout most of season 1. In every scene they're in, they steal the show. Anthony Kerrigan and Glenn Fleshler are just hilarious in every scene, and you just can't wait to see more of them. I really don't know what else to say about them, except you just have to watch the show and just enjoy how hilarious it is when these two riff off each other. I don't even want to waste more time describing these characters. I'd much rather just show you a clip so you can see for yourself.
Oh, watch your step here.
Oh, it's a big one.
Hey, you know, if we knock down that wall, it would really open the place up. You know, clean up the blood, maybe add some French doors, maybe a ping pong table right there. You know, I'm just riffing.
Now Cristobal will come here to US. Hey, you took my fucking stash house. I'm going to slit your fucking throats. And we will be waiting for him.
Yes, because they are short, right?
Right.
Go on, this is great physical comedy of you.
It costs.
Oh, it's good though.
What?
God, you got accepted to the class. Me too. Gene doesn't let just anyone in. You must have really impressed him with your motto. Thanks.
Barry has a style I feel is different than a lot of shows I've seen recently. First off, the cinematography I think is much nicer than most shows on TV. Now, you could say that's just because it's an HBO show, which is true, but still. Now, it's not like Mr. Robot levels of cinematography. They don't do a ton of really crazy shots, but it's nice. There's one specific example I really want to talk about, which you may consider getting into slight spoiler territory. Now, I personally don't feel it would have changed my viewing pleasure, but if you want to stay away from absolutely everything, then you can skip ahead to the time on the screen. There's a scene at the very end of episode 6 where Barry and his newly formed crew are driving into a plane hangar for a hit job. When, maybe you should just watch it.
Get these motherfuckers!
Taylor, they're already here! The plane's already here!
Smoke that motherfucker!
Taylor, stop!
After the scene finished, I just sat watching the credits for about 10 to 15 seconds in awe. Maybe it's just me, but this scene seemed edited perfectly, and the way the music cuts out and the credits are just left in open noise just felt so cool and dark at the same time. It left me genuinely shocked and curious about what was about to happen in the next episode. But moving on. Something really small I love about this show is its opening title.
How much cheaper was it?
Folks. All right, everyone.
It's very short and simple, but those trumpets. Ooh, those trumpets. There's something about it that I just can't really pinpoint, but it always just seemed the perfect timing, and it was just used as such a great transition into the next scene. Maybe I'm weird, but every time it flashed on screen, I just couldn't help but smiling. Another impressive thing about this show's style is the way it's able to switch tones with such ease. The show can have you equally laughing out loud and feeling emotionally moved just several scenes apart, and again, it not feeling forced or awkward at all. This show delivers such real emotion and sad truth that sometimes I forgot I was even watching a Bill Hader comedy. This show is something special. Now, I know there's so much out there to be binging, but you just have to trust me when I say to put this one at or at least close to the top of your list. Like I said earlier, it's only 8 episodes, and each is only 30 minutes long, so compared to all the shows we have today, it really isn't even that long of a binge. It will make you laugh, it will make you feel, might even give you a tear, but will definitely give you something to look forward to.